Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, your voices.
Are we waiting for somebody?
Well, I'm waiting for mine connecting Zoom to work.
Ah,
It was working for a minute and then it isn't.
The architect will be on in just a moment. Hi, everybody.
Hi. I'm Charmaine. I'll be taking notes.
Good. Hi, Charmaine.
I'm with the LUDRC. I'm sorry I missed the first meeting.
That's
So
okay.
I'm hoping Rod will kind of give a summary of where are we?
Yep.
Yeah, and now I see that I'm here.
you have two boxes open.
And
Yeah.
I'm actually here.
There he is.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, David.
Hi.
Okay. Now I should. Okay, we're getting better. Bonnie? Uh-oh. Those are slow. I'm going to go off video. It actually shows me as having. Okay.
Kind of addictive.
Okay, now I only have one. Hey, Bonnie, you coming?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you want to pull a chair out?
Yeah. Okay, here you can see.
Again, I have great compliments for your dining room, Peter.
They like my dining room.
Oh.
Yeah. Our dining room is much less. Well, you've got your leg wrapped around
I have
it.
a ghostly hand here
Yeah.
that belongs to Sue.
Hi, Sue.
Hi.
Okay, Charmaine, I'll tell you what's. Okay, so the background was we saw the plans. There was questions in the neighborhood regarding the space. There were views from the street, views from others. There was some notes that were emailed to us at 5:50 this evening, which didn't give me any time to receive them. Did anybody else receive those? Yes or no?
I'll
No.
look.
Did you get any?
Can hear you.
No,
You guys can hear me? Wave your hands if you can.
Rod, you're coming and going. Sometimes your voice cuts out for me. and sometimes it's in there.
You said,
It's very,
Peter, where are you? Is that where you live?
In his castle, of course.
slow.
we are Rod.
Just your typical floating home. Nothing to see here.
My man's floating homes in castle.
There you go.
Right, I'm gonna go downstairs. You can take the baby boy.
Maybe you should take them.
You taking her?
No, you can. Right at your shoulder. A little break.
I'll stay here then.
Here, I'll take him for a moment.
And then,
Actually, I'll keep him. He's pretty chill.
cause I gotta do some things here.
Okay, I've just unmuted my cell phone. You can hear me now?
Can you guys
Yes.
hear us?
Yep.
Yes,
Okay. The Zoom person that was supposed to be handling this is stuck in traffic. That's why there's a problem going on.
Well, there might be a problem.
If you can hear us, just check in with your name, please. Just say your name.
Christine,
Peter,
Okay.
I can hear you.
And David.
David, how about
Okay.
Charmaine?
yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay, good. So everybody that's at the meeting can hear us.
And Jan is
Yes.
logged in too.
And Jan is logged in.
Hey, and Jan Graham sent
Yeah.
messages with
Yeah.
attachments
Peter.
at 5:50. That's not enough time for us to
Yeah, that's
download them
unacceptable.
and review them before the meeting that started in 10 minutes. Christine, you got your hand up.
oh, no, sorry, I was just holding my temple, sorry.
Are we able to screen share to at least show some of the pictures that we have?
Yes, oh yeah, you can do
Sure.
that.
You can do that, but
Okay.
the problem is, we haven't actually had time to review them.
No,
Christine.
I printed them. They're on the printer. If you go there, or I'll go get them, okay? Okay, I printed them, but I was
Okay.
here.
It's still not much time if it's a 6 o'clock meeting, Rod.
Okay, what
Now we have a
I-
terrible echo.
okay. Here's what I'm gonna do.
What?
Here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do.
No, it doesn't have an echo, so we're not only hearing off my cell phone.
So we're only hearing off of Rod's cell phone. Is that better?
It sounds okay.
Okay, good. And Christine, is your hand up?
Nope.
It looks like it's permanently up.
Sometimes I do
okay.
this with my glasses. Sorry.
There. Okay. That's
I'll
okay.
let you know. I'll let you know if I
All
remember
right.
the question.
Okay, here's drawings. These are from Christine, not from Graham.
Okay.
What are for me?
The drawings you can, they can't see you because I took off the
that's
video.
good.
So I've got the elevations of, that's as high as it goes.
Okay. All right. So what is the purpose of this meeting tonight? For sure.
Okay.
Let's set an agenda here.
Well, we're going over 237 Western Drive. We've asked the architect applicant / to update the drawings based on the comments we made the last meeting, which was issues about variance and sight lines. And I printed out in our house the sight lines from, there's a person overlooking
Okay.
and there's a person there.
Were there 3 pages or just 2 pages sent?
There were 2 pages of that, and then there's other stuff that I couldn't get to print.
That doesn't print.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have only
Okay.
2 pages.
Well, no, but Christine can take over the drawings and put on her-
Okay.
Well,
your plan. Why don't we start with the views?
okay, so David was
Oh.
going to screen share from
I mean, the screen share.
so that he can illustrate his points as he's talking. So
Okay.
David, can you share your screen?
And also, and just so everyone knows that there's a Google Drive link that to the PDF drawings. I think the group has access to that.
I sent to everybody.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just sharing the same thing as that. Let me see if I can.
That something went wrong, please.
Give me a second to screen share. On.
See that?
Yeah.
Um,
Now I have a note saying something went wrong and I should close and rejoin the meeting. But I don't know if that's such a big deal because,
There you are.
okay. Let me
oh
see.
yeah, I've been here the whole time. But that's my cell phone you're looking at.
Okay, so I'm screen sharing if everyone can see.
Yeah, we can put it on the
that's okay.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have to see us. We just want to see well, what is the big changes that have happened?
It's no significant changes. We still were there. We got the discretionary items are the view from the public right of way and the 20% variance that we're hoping to request for the planning department on total floor area. And so one of the things is on the floor area, you can see that. So
It's a microcomputer. I mean, actually, it's better on my cell phone than it is on the screen. I guess my cell phone has got a better view.
oh, it's just a little bit blurry. Okay, well, one of the things I did is I added the data for the floor area ratio for the
What's up?
Okay.
the adjacent neighbors with similar lots. The planning department asked that I put that on the drawings since we talked. And the average is 56%. You can see the numbers. And what we're doing as far as the variance request is 20% increase. The way they calculate is it's tighter than it was in the past. So 41% is the code allowed, and we're asking for 49%. Just saying that's a 20% increase of the floor area
Can I
rate.
ask a question?
Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question? Are you giving all of the neighbors for a comparison of that they have the same kinds of variances you're asking for?
Oh, well,
Because you realize they grandfathered in.
oh, yeah, I'm not, yeah, I understand that. That's, the planning department just said when you show the neighbor's floor area ratio as a comparative, do the lots that are, I guess, west of Western, towards the ocean from Western, because they're steep and similar, similar types of lots. And so that's,
Okay.
I'm just, I get it. Like there, you can see, you can see the year built 1963, 1957, 1958, 1971. There's additions and stuff like that. But that's, anyway, that's it. I mean, again, that's discretionary. So it's, that could be.
Well, they might have had
Fine.
different, requirements then.
There
too.
was no floor area ratio other than commercial buildings until a few years.
Yeah, that
recent.
could be. That could
But,
be.
but,
And
but new builds are expected to conform as close as possible to new requirements, correct? Right?
yeah. So I mean, the code is 41%, and we're asking for 49%. That's the ask. You can say no. It's
And the hardship is,
oh, so there is the only hardship we can say is steeply sloped terrain. So that's the justification. Here, basically the surface area of the lot. So imagine you have two lots, same square footage. One is exactly flat, and the one slopes it, it's very steep, 45%, say, or 45-degree angle. Then the surface area of the lot that slopes actually has more dirt.
yes.
And so that's the justification. So that's what we're asking. I mean, it's so this is the thing. It's like, are you guys okay with a 20% increase, a 10% increase, a 0% increase of the floor area ratio? That's
Well, we have to get all the neighbors to also get their thoughts on some of what you want to exceed.
yeah. So that's the one thing that we're asking for extra. And I understand that's discretionary. And so, like, if we go to look at, I did the math on that. Hang on a second, we scroll. Sorry for scrolling. So here it is. So you can see the slope of the lot, that the surface area of the lot is different than the surveyor only does it from from an aerial view, assuming it's your property lines are as seen from space. And so yeah, and here's the math. So we got a 38% slope, and so on and so forth, cosine, and yada yada yada. So that justifies 7% on the lot slope. We're asking for more. And yeah, so that's one thing that you guys need to contemplate. And then I also, last time there was some concern about the views. So the other concern is also discretionary, is the views. Let me quickly, this is the same, it's a continuation of the conversation from last month. So here's the text, sorry it's a little bit grainy, of what the views, what the code says, right? So it's protect public views from the public rights of way, while also allowing for reasonable use of the land. Now that's fuzzy, but that's what that's the other discretionary item, like how much house, how much protected views. So that's that's what we're asking you guys to think about. And I assume everyone's already seen like the shape and size of the house from last month.
You said nothing's changed?
Yeah, I didn't change the design. I'll take that back. I changed the design very slightly because after consulting with the planning department, I'm scrolling. See what it says, 32 feet above average grade. And we were a little into that. So I had to cut the top floor back 1.5 feet
Okay,
to manage that. I mean, it's you wouldn't know without if I didn't point it out, but we were just we were into that 32 foot above grade, which is breaks a zoning rule. I just didn't want to ask for that. You know, another variant. It's easier to chop a building by 1.5 feet. And so that's really was the change. And then also I threw all the photographs I have on one photography page. So you remember this is the shot here. You know, this is, you know, an architectural presentation of the view as you're standing on the road. And, you know, I took some liberties here, you know, I put this together on the computer. So some people said that, well, we want to see the photos, or we need to see what it looks like really. And so I added a sheet.
Which is what I emailed to everybody yesterday.
I'm sorry for scrolling. I added the sheet here. So basically, if we do an analysis of the cross section, so standing at if we stand right in the middle of the street, in the middle of the garage, you can see the math there, the cross section. So your eye level will be right about the top of the garage. And the code allows us, just reading from the code, if you can see that, 18 feet above edge of pavement on 20% slope lots. That's the maximum allowed by code. But we are also already read that code that protect public views and reasonable use of the land. So what I'm doing is I'm just showing that the code allows 18 feet, but we got the views to protect. So right now the garage is 5'9" of that 18 feet. You can see that there.
Yep.
So, and that's the garage. And garage is a little higher than we would love. We would like the garage. We don't really want the garage that high. It's just getting a car into it is a factor. You know, you guys can say, hey, we want to drop that garage by 1.5 feet. I'll have to just work it out, for example. And then at the lower portion, this is a cross section at the ADU in the front gate, which, you know, you can get some steps down, you can walk down to it. So that is, you can see the eye level and how you can see over it.
3.3 feet. So it's
Yeah.
3 feet, 3 inches.
Yeah, above edge of pavement. And then of course, someone standing at the pavement is, you know, 5'4", I assume, eye level. Is that 5'4"? Yeah, 5'4". And that's it. And so it'd be hard to lower this any lower, but I can maybe fudge the numbers a little bit with the garage.
Okay.
Okay, and then here are the photos, right? And so here's a photo of the story poles we have up. Now, granted, this is taken from the high, you know, the part of the road that's higher in elevation than the other side of the lot. This is
Doesn't look accurate.
It's the photo we have, right? And so that it's where the taken was from, you know, standing on the you know, the highway slopes. That's not highway. The road slopes quite a bit from one side of the lot to the next. I think it's a 4-foot drop, maybe 6. And anyway, that's the outline. And then if you look at the other photos from the other locations, the one we have that's the view from the center of pavement from the entry gate. That's more, yeah. So that's a little bit closer to the center of the lot, maybe a little bit downhill from the center of the lot. And just to get a reference point, so how high we're going above that fence is, let me see, give me a second, I have to look that up. So the distance we're going above that fence is, we are 5'9" higher than the low edge of the fence. And the distance, that's for the that lower portion of the house, you know, the ADU and the front gate. And then the distance from the top of the garage is 1 foot lower than the eave of the house to the right. So, and the story portals are up there, so anyone can walk by. Anyway, so like here's another shot. This is center of pavement in front of the garage. So, yeah. So the top of the garage is 1 foot below the eave of the greenish gray house, the front eave, 1 foot. And then the top.
Is that on the left or the right? You're talking on
yeah,
the
on the right.
The left?
So you look
on the right. Okay.
On your right. You go to the corner of the eave at that house on the right. Go down 1 foot, and that's the top of your garage. And then the garage comes across approximately to the tree, that little tree. And then I don't have it marked because we didn't have story poles up when we took this picture. And then the other portion of the house is drops another 3'10" from the garage, and the sum is it's 5'9" above the fence. That's to the left. And then here's another shot. This is the shot. This is the Google. This is taken just from Google Street View. And so take, for example, the yellow house, the garage at the far left of the image. That's that flat roof of the garage. So we're 2'8" above that flat roof. Yeah. So so if you go 2'8" above that flat roof of the garage to the left of the yellow house, go across the approximate center lot, you go up another 3'10", and you terminate approximately 1 foot below the eave of the house to the right. And with another picture. Yeah, so I just try to throw all the pictures that are informative. And yeah, and I show the math, so you guys can mull over what best to do. And did everyone see like the floor plans and the pool down near the beach and things like that? Or do you want me to run through that, or is that unnecessary?
Maine hadn't seen it because she wasn't here
Oh, okay.
last year, last month.
But is there any do you have more to share about right now?
He's sharing now.
I can show the floor plans. So basically what's happening I'll start with a cross section. So basically all the action is on the beach, right? So the kitchen and the living room will be on the beach, and there's a small pool as well on the beach.
So that's on the bottom level?
Yeah, on the bottom, yeah. So so the owner preferred interaction with the beach and that kind of thing than the view. And then the middle floor is basically the master bedroom. Top floor is kids' bedrooms, guest bedrooms, things like that. And of course the garage. And there's an elevator in there too, as you can see, EV. And yeah, that's that. And so, in looking at the layout, where shows the layout? Where is it? Here it is. Okay, so this is the roof plan, and so you can see the what's labeled ADU. That's a guest cottage. It's I think 100 square feet thereabouts, and then you can see the garage labeled, and then there's this. You know, to enter the house, you go through this gate, down some steps to the front entry door, and then you're off, and then it terraces down from there. So
is there 2 ADUs?
I'm sorry.
Is there no two ADUs here?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't there
well,
two ADUs?
There is. I mean, there's a junior ADU and then an ADU. There's, you know, there's a differentiation legally, but an ADU can be a separate cottage, and a JADU is connected to the house. And the limitations are
So one is considered separate?
yeah. So the ADU is separate. ADU is allowed to be separate, whereas a JADU is internal to a house.
Right.
So it basically they
Right.
yeah. That's and so
And the separate one is 500 and what square feet?
let me just double check. The ADU is the maximum allowed is 800 legally, but we couldn't fit it.
Mhm.
Give me a second to look it up. Actually, where is the data? ADU is sorry, I have to get to the right place. So it's on this sheet. Here's the square footages. So the ADU is 385 square feet. So it's
Okay.
it's quite small.
So that's the separate building one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then here's the math on asking for the 20% variance. And that's on the site plan, the sheet A10. And then by the way, the other thing that we sort of luckily don't need to ask for variance is the footprint. And the maximum footprint is 45%, and we're at 40% of the footprint. And that's obviously because it's a 3-story house, everything's stacked on each other. And so the footprint is just the outline, you know, how much dirt you leave.
Mhm.
So, you know, the 3-story house, of course, is going to make it underneath the footprint. And that's called, or lot coverage, same thing. And then the total floor area, they don't care about floors, just how much floor area you have. And here we have it.
Is this a change from last time?
No, it's the same. It's the same.
Okay.
So the only architectural change was I did that thing with that height. The part of the house was sticking. It was outside of the zone of allowable height. And then so for the people who haven't seen the floor plan before,
It's too close to the.
sorry. So basically, here's the floor plan for the top floor. You can see how you go through in the middle center, top middle center. You go through a gate, and then at the street frontage we have a yard, and then it says travertine wall. So it's going to be it should be, for a passerby, it should be quite pretty. A travertine wall with the garden in front of it, and then the occupant will go through the gate down to a deck which is private and sunny, and then into the entry, and then that's where the kids' rooms, guest rooms are, and then downstairs is master bedroom and of course kitchen and living room and stuff. And that looks like.
This is too close to the.
Anyway, and this is the ground floor. Last month, people said, well, BCDC might not want that pool on the beach and that kind of thing. And that's the next group we have to go talk to. And
So one of the questions I wanted to ask is, how wide is the building at the street level, and how wide is the lot?
yeah, the lot is 60 feet wide. Is that right? 60.
Okay.
And we're required a 6-foot setback on either side, so it's total 4 wide. Yep.
So the house is how much?
48. Is that right? 12.
48.
Doing the math. Yeah, 40 should be 48. Drawing, so look at that. Yeah, so we have to say.
So it's 6 feet. So you've basically swallowed, the lot swallowed the house. I mean, the house has swallowed the lot. it doesn't sound like there's very many view corridors for people to look around the house of this house because it's so big.
They can kind of see over it.
Yeah.
You can kind of see over it,
Yeah, yeah,
hopefully.
Yeah, that's the thing. So that's what the
If you
A3
can't see over it, I'm sorry, I went, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I went and I took pictures at my view and not at the edge, but really about 10 feet, 2/3 of the road. And I could not see, I drew a red line there if you guys want to look in the chart, in the chat, and we have pictures of it. There is zero view, zero. And looking at the lower poles, unless I, go up to the driveway of Susan's house across the street. So there is no view. It is completely view blocking for people unless you are tall.
Yeah, I know. I really, we should have these pictures with the story poles in it. That's why
I actually, if you look on the chat, I showed you a picture that I took, and I drew a line across the lower poles at my eye level. I put it in the chat, and we also have pictures. It's in the handout that we sent in, unfortunately late. But you can see that if you look in the chat, and there is zero view. I can see the sky fine, but zero water, zero land view at my height.
Well,
And if I hike uphill and I go on the opposite side of the street, I can maybe glimpse a bit of the, of Angel Island, tip of Angel Island.
well, the main thing too also is someone that is passing through is probably not as permanently affected as someone who lives across the street or if their view is blocked. And Jan, you are right on the water, right, aren't you? You're the yellow house.
I am. So it's not just for me, but I'm just saying, like, I thought there was supposed to be some sort of, I mean, Jeff Shea wrote when they were building the house at, the Knoxes were building the house, he wrote about, hey, yeah, we need some, they should keep it low so that there's a view corridor. And have zero view corridor here. So I'll shut up. I know it's not my turn to talk.
Oh no, I've said all. I mean, I've shown it.
Okay, now I believe I just put Jan's picture on the screen. Can you see that?
Oh, let me unshare my screen. I think I have to unshare it. Let me see.
You put it down a little bit so you can swallow. You're taking away
Okay, I'm gonna stop
that
there.
you drew.
Okay, so I think you should be able to share at this point.
Yeah. Can everybody see that with the red line across it?
Not I can't.
No.
Oh,
Hold on a second,
No,
guys.
not visible yet.
Yes, I saw it in the chat.
Oh,
Okay, now it should be there now.
It's
Let's see.
starting.
no. I was able to, go to the chat and click on the
Yeah.
picture. Oh, okay, yeah.
You can see it now, right?
Part
Yeah,
of it.
Yeah.
There,
You-
better.
It shows part of, oh, there we go.
Yeah. So,
well, that's the problem with story poles. They're two sticks in the air.
well, there's
They
a line
don't
across.
actually,
can zoom
represent
out.
a whole building, which of course, you can't expect them to. They're poles.
But that is that pole is based on the higher elevation to the uphill side.
Those were the lower poles, and I took that picture not at the edge of the road, but about 2/3 down, where people might be walking. But
Is part of your concern, Jan, the fact that this house is only 6 feet away from the property line?
of course, of
And
course.
is some of it that you're going to be losing views from some of your windows?
Oh, I definitely, that's going to happen. But I think he has the right. I mean, I can't make, that's just something I have to swallow. But absolutely, yeah, I'm going to lose a lot by him building such a huge house on this lot. But I just meant in terms of, I thought that there was some sort of, not mandate, but some that when they build, they have they have to allow for some view corridor. And I'm just saying, I don't think that they're being completely transparent in how much this blocks the view for
Yeah.
people walking
The view
around.
corridor. Okay, Jan, the view corridor is actually the gap from house A to house B, not the view corridor over the house.
Okay,
And
but,
so,
yeah, okay.
yeah, and actually, the one that really is going to be administratively and enforcing is BCDC, because they're the ones that have told people you can't have tall brush in your view corridor. You can only have short shrubs so that, you know, plants don't grow up and take away your view. So, but as far as the view corridor, you know, over the house, that's,
Well, if is gonna be a variance to get that?
no, the view corridor, they meet the view corridor by having their side yard setbacks.
Is
The
this
6
gonna be,
feet.
is this,
That's not your view corridor. The view corridor is
I
to the
know.
left and to the right of the story poles.
listen, is that line going to ask for a variance because that's how tall it's going to be, the
No.
garage? Okay, all
No.
right.
I
By
guess the question
chance,
is,
does anybody know the dimension, David, between Jan's house and her property line?
Jan is, which, that to the left or the right of it? Is that downhill?
To
or
the
up?
left of the picture we're looking at, the yellow house.
Oh, the yellow house. They're right on, the garage is exactly on the property line, but, so,
I'm talking about side yard.
oh, so, yeah, so, so it's a total of 6 feet, a 6 foot gap. That's 6 foot is, you know, is the project's side yard. And well, hold on a second, I take that back. So are we referring to the larger portion of the house or the garage?
I'm talking both the north and south sides, both elevations. You know, how far is the south side, which is by Jan's house? How far is the north side, which is by Betty Tarr's house?
Okay, let me look that up. Give me a second.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll tell you, it'd be very helpful to have those dimensions for the neighbors' setbacks so that we can see by comparison also.
Yeah, Jan, do you know what the property setback is on your side?
I do know that, I mean, it was pre-existing when I bought the house. I think that the garage, I think part of the garage does not have a 6-foot setback. Graham, maybe you know better than me.
So 225 Western, the garage has a 0 foot setback. And then the main portion of the house, I'm just looking at the survey, the main portion of the house, and it varies a little bit, but approximately it has a 4'9", and right at the beach, it's a little bit wider at 6 feet. It varies from 6 feet at maximum to 0 at the garage. And then 251 is 5 feet.
Okay,
251 is
it
5
used to be, yeah, and it used to be the setback was 10% of your lot width or no more than 5 feet if that was,
What do you mean no less?
yeah, but I don't know if they've changed that or not.
They, you know, I thought it was 5 feet all this. I thought it was 5 feet too. I thought it was also 5 feet, but then the planning department person corrected me and says, no, it's 6.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yes, maybe, so it's a moving target.
Well, I mean, I read the code that said 5 lane. It's their, you know, it's their code. So, but,
Skipping the
Okay,
committee members have.
okay. Well, I'd like to also mention, I completely understand about the concerns about views because, you know, it's kind of nice to walk by the lot and you can see all this water. And so I asked the planning department, like, which view it matters. And they said, you know, concentrate on center of lot, center of pavement. So like the center of the paved street at the center of the lot. Show it. That's the view we're gonna be looking at.
yeah.
So
So Dan, this photo on the screen now is from your eyeballs, right?
I don't know if she hears you.
She's on mute.
Yeah.
So
It's you know, I get it. Like if you're on the lower portion of the street, you're gonna end up with this view. And it depends where you're standing, because there's, the grade, so I understand that
Yeah.
one photo.
Okay, let's go back to you taking the screen,
Oh, me,
David.
David? Okay.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Screen. Hold on, I'm still messing with it.
Ask if there's maybe members who want
Yeah.
to ask some questions.
Okay, is there any more of your presentation, David, or can I have
Oh,
the other
right.
committee
So,
members ask?
so this, by the way, this picture, right? I think it's, which picture is view center pavement garage? I think this view is as close to center pavement, center of lot as it's maybe slightly downhill. And I guess the question is, like, it'd be nice if their story poles are in this photo. Like, how much water line does a neighborhood want to see? Now, how low do we have to make this house, and how low do we have to make the garage?
And the bottom line is, it was just 1 foot beneath the eave of the house on the right. So pretty much there's only the tip of Angel Island is visible.
Yeah, that's over the that's the garage. That's over the garage. So yeah, so we have two things going on. Of course, we've got, you can see that's you see the figure in front is standing in front of the garage. That's the math for center of garage, center of street, and you can see your eye view, it gets nipped by the top of the garage. So that makes sense, right? So it's, and then the other one is, this is the other dimension, is where you can see over the house. And we have to push this down. We have to push this down. It's you guys can, that's what the neighborhood group's for, is to state what's okay and what's not okay. And
So that would push down half of the house for more view over the house.
Yeah, I mean, how low should we push this house down? And yeah, I understand this is like the view, that the picture that one of your members showed was probably taken from the lower part of the street. This is taken from the upper part of the street. So this is the best, right? This is, the builder sent me this picture. It's that put up the story poles. And of course, as you go downhill, that dotted line starts lifting in comparison to the water.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I think let's open it up to our committee. Bonnie, do you have any more questions?
No, not right now.
Okay, Peter?
Not really, no. I'm still absorbing it.
Maybe you guys are having the general meeting tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe if given time, you can take a picture of center of lot, center of street with the story poles. Then it's less of a debate on how much, then it's very clear.
Actually, I have a suggestion that picture in the bottom left with the story poles and the drawing across it.
This the bottom right, this one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the bottom right there. You go into Photoshop or something and just fill in the spaces between the.
Oh, okay.
poles. And I think that would portray a more accurate idea of what we're doing.
Except that was not taken in the middle of the street. I mean, David knows that, like, that was taken sort of at the bottom of Susan's driveway. So I think taking one that is, like they mentioned, in the middle of the street, maybe at a 5'4" level, I'm only 5'1", but a 5'4" level in the middle of the street would be more accurate.
Yeah.
This was done at a higher elevation, not at 5'4", and it was basically, I remember Susan at the bottom of Susan's driveway.
And actually, that would be good to do. So
Okay.
David, let's move on.
We'll
Go
try.
ahead and do that and share it with everybody in this and send a copy to Peter Thielen and
Okay,
not Peter, Philip Rosenthal, and we'll put it on the web too tomorrow.
yeah, because what I tried as a comparative, this is kind of trying to do what you're saying, but this is obviously done on a computer, this image.
Right.
And so, you know, naysayers can argue with this all day long, but you know, I'll try to get this straight on shot right in the middle, and we got the story poles, and then do an infill like you suggested. Maybe if I can infill this. All right, we'll do some homework between now and tomorrow. That image.
All right.
And then
So
you know,
Charmaine,
we're looking
yeah,
forward.
we got to move on so we can get
Okay.
everybody in here. Charmaine, any questions?
Yes, I wanted, I'm sorry that I missed the first meeting, but I wanted to ask a few more things like parking. I think somebody brought that up in the chat for ADUs. I think we need parking. And also I was concerned about the water drainage. Is that going into the bay? And what about hooking up to the sewer? So that's like three things: water drainage, sewer hookup, and parking for ADUs.
I was just on the phone with Mary Phelps in Public Works about the sewer hookup. And you know, in that moratorium, which is well known, she said to me that she didn't give it approval, but she said connecting to the sewer pipe that's on Western is likely okay, and connecting directly to the sewer pipe that's under the beach, that's the fragile one that everyone's concerned about, that's to BD whether that's okay. But she said it should be fine to connect to the sewer pipe on the street. But that requires sump pumps and stuff like that, so it's not ideal, but that
would be a lot better than trying to tie into a pipe that's 59 years old.
Well, right, that's basically what,
surface.
Yeah, that's what she said. She goes, that old pipe, we're right now we're not allowing any new connections, physical connections to it, so you're gonna have to pump uphill and connect to the street. And that's the sewer thing. And then parking. A good question on the ADU with the parking. So the rule is it's a half a mile walking to the nearest bus stop, which you're waived from parking requirements for the ADU. So we're not adding a parking space for the ADU because it's just close enough to a bus stop.
Yeah, those young adults are going to be taking the bus. I doubt that.
I'm just saying that's the law.
I know that's the rule.
rules.
Okay.
Okay.
And
also we need to talk with the committee members.
Okay. So next, Susan.
No, did Charmaine get her questions answered?
The last question was about water drainage. Is there any issue about water drainage going into the bay?
Honestly, I haven't tackled that one. The sewer we're connecting to the sewer pipe on Western, but as far as like landscape drainage and things like that, like plants,
The swimming pool.
I don't know. I assume we're just going to work that out with engineering and do whatever they require. And
BCDC.
And BCDC.
Yeah.
BCDC will be interested in where your landscape drainage goes, because it's often filled with, chemicals and things.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't tackled that issue. We don't have a lot of, other than hedges on the side yard, and the planters minimal, but yeah, there's probably some concerns whether drainage.
You can expect that BCDC will have a say.
Yeah.
Charmaine, do you have more, Charmaine? Any other questions?
Let's see now. There's very little parking on that street for anybody. So visitors and, even the people that live there, if there's 2 or 3 people with cars, how many cars fit in the garage?
It's a 2-car garage. I'm hoping to convince the owner to allow me to set the garage back a little more so that he can fit a car in his driveway on his, off of his property, on his property. So, because it's 6'5" from the property line right now.
That's what.
The whole hillside has
That's
a lot of
what-
parking
that's what-
issues, so you have to try to
That's not
stay off the
secret.
street somehow, so if you need to push a little space, even they can park sideways if they have a small car.
Well, I mean, also Western is kind of unique in that can you see the to the left of this screen here? See where it says not paved on the site plan? And there's a lot of
Oh, yeah.
that's that sloping area where I guess most people walk. You can also see the steps of the neighbor. And so it's actually, so where the property line is further away from the pavement than you might think. Just saying. But if we can step the garage back so another car can fit in front of the garage, that would be a pretty good thing, I think.
What about David? Does David want anything?
I
Okay,
think that'd
David?
be a good idea myself, but I don't have any other questions at this point, except one. You're not planning to put a fence in the front anywhere, are you?
Oh, no. That was, here, let me look at no fence in the front yard.
Okay,
So basically what I mean, the view is better than a nice travertine stone wall and a garden, but that's what's happening in the front yard right there. Is that stone wall and garden, but
okay.
it doesn't be a view of the Golden Gate Bridge in Angel Island, but that's
Okay, so questions from David Cole?
Yeah, I did have a question, returning to the issue of the picture and the view. I noticed that, looking at the picture, I guess we're looking south. Is that right? Or anyway, from the right to the left of the picture, the street slopes downhill. So if you are taking a picture of that, of the view from the middle, you're gonna be higher in relation to where the ADU or the JADU would be.
correct.
So, I mean, I would like the picture to be centered where or get closer to where the space between the two houses is. And see that accessory building, straight on.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, hold on, let me go back to
Yeah,
that.
in other words, because now
Like
you're
straight
looking
onto that.
now you're looking downhill at it. So if you proceed to your left, everything's gonna get higher.
Yeah,
And so I would like to be able to see it as if you were standing in the one spot where you're gonna see anything. Because I mean, I'm assuming that the garage,
that's reasonable.
you need a garage, and there's not much way around making changes in that. But I'm feeling like that ADU there, or the JADU, I don't remember which, is that could be adjusted. That could be adjusted down. I mean, it would mean adjusting the whole house down some. But it would accommodate more of a view. You know, if the planning department tells you that you know, you meet the requirements, that's their prerogative. But I would like to see some accommodation to at least give a little bit more view above that stone wall
Okay. So just as a reference point, so the exact center of the lot is
Yeah,
just inches to the right of the entry gate.
right.
So
Yeah, but I mean,
right about
I'm
6
thinking, I
inches
mean,
to the left of that gate. Or
presumably,
to the right, sorry, take it back.
presumably the concern here is not for the neighbors. Evidently, the people across the street, I haven't seen anything that indicates that the people across the street are having their views significantly impacted. That the issue is really for pedestrians on that street. That's what we're talking about here. And so I would want to see, now the pedestrian on that street standing in front of that garage is going to see the garage and may see a little bit over that stone wall. As they proceed south, or east, whichever it is, that wall is going to get higher in relation to where they are standing. So as they get closer to the view, there will be less of the view. And so I would, as I say, I would like to accommodate, get as much as we could squeeze out of it. So that
It's sorry to interject. It sounds like we want one photo dead center of, in like the planning department wants, of a lot, and one 25% of the lot. It's 60 feet wide. So one's at 30 feet in the middle, one's at 15 feet from the edge, and one is at 15 feet from the other edge.
Yeah, I would like that because, I mean, I think that tells the story better of what the experience of being on that street would be
Okay.
for a pedestrian.
Susan too.
Oh,
And
Okay.
yeah, and also it'll save everyone
Good time,
time. So
right?
this is the second meeting we've, I mean, I this is no problem because it's Zoom. I'm come from my own home, but this is the second meeting we've had on this, so it'd be better to like conclude.
Okay,
Sure you
I've
guys-
got two more people to speak. Susie, Cody?
Hi, you might already addressed this already, but where are we in the process with design review? Or is this like after all these agencies or all the neighbors weigh in, then are you to like final steps of design review, or what's the timeline looking like on that?
Oh yeah, good question. So basically, we want to get a letter from the neighborhood group and move that on to the planning department with the app and apply to the planning department. And so, and if there are any radical changes, I need to make it, before applying, because it's, I want to, when we apply, I want it as close as possible to what's acceptable. So as soon as we finish with the neighborhood group, make any changes according to what you guys are asking for, then I make those changes and move it on to the planning department. And
Okay,
then,
anything else? Okay, Susie, anything else from you?
Just really quickly, I hear you kind of glossing over the BCDC, but they're very, very strict and stringent. It seems like you would be contacting them sooner than later.
oh
'Cause I
yeah,
know they can
definitely.
delay a project a year or two from my past experience with them.
Yeah, I was about to say, then concurrently, we'll send to BCDC.
Okay. So, okay, I gotta take Bonnie. Bonnie has a call on an issue. And then
Well, I
got-
just want to mention that, I don't know if everyone saw it come up on the screen, but Jan said that, your ceiling heights on the bottom floor are 12 feet high. That looks like it could be a place for some adjustment of the building and the height.
But the view they take away is the garage. So I'm gonna say,
Yeah, exactly.
you don't have to have, how tall is the garage from foundation to the roof?
Oh, give me a second. I'll look that up. It's, I tried to keep that to a minimum because I know that's a rubbing point. So basically we've got, me a minute to look it up. The clear height, the ceiling height of the garage is, sorry, I think it's 8 feet. 8 foot, yeah. So we made that 8 feet, but then it's, you know, the overall front height is 9'10" because there's the roofing and blah, blah, blah. But the clear height is, and which winds up to be 9'10" to the very top of parapet. You know, that's
if you
the dimension
could,
right there.
you need the parapet?
Well, we got to slope the flat roof. I mean, economize.
But it's going towards the bay?
Yeah, I mean, we could, I mean, it's always possible once we get into details to squeeze 6 inches out of it, but it's, I hate to paint my, you know, it's painting yourself into a corner. Because the parapet's got to be 6 feet above the 6 inches above, 4 to 6 inches above the surface of the flat roof. The flat roof itself has to slope, and you got to give it 6 inches to slope and move, and then the roof itself is roughly a foot. So I gave myself 18 inches there.
Okay.
You know, there's.
Okay,
See
sorry.
if you can squeeze.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry to
squeezing
interrupt,
out,
but
squeezing a foot out
neighbors
of
wish
the
to
garage
speak
is.
too,
Okay, so we got to go move along here.
and get the
I'll
neighbors
go-
to have their say
I
in,
think-
okay?
Graham, I'll start with you. And unfortunately, your email was received at 5:50 for a 6 o'clock meeting. I didn't have no chance to review it.
Sure, thanks. I understand. I only got the documents I was responding to yesterday, so it took me a while. And but I'll try to get responses as quickly as possible. So my concern is that it'll definitely change the character of the street. Every nice day, a few dozen people walk by here, walk their dogs on the street, and they do appreciate the view of the water. And it's a question of what's reasonable use of the property. It's not a huge property, and a lot of builders can come up with something that's within the floor area ratio. And this not only is it requesting a variance of 20%, but that's not even counting the ADU or the AJ ADU, and for which there is no parking. And there are other things, there are ways that it could be built better to serve the community interests more. In 2007, Jeff Shea advocated low profile building for the construction of 125 Western. And we should, that seems to be the new feeling about new construction. So one thing they could do is just eliminate the ADU and move the garage to the left where the ADU is, and automatically we'll get a much better view over the house. And more compliant floor area ratio. They could probably live with a ceiling that's lower than 12 feet on the bottom floor. And it'd help preserve the character of the street and the neighborhood. And I think this proposal is trying to max out every setback, every height, every possible restriction. And I don't think that's not necessary or reasonable.
Okay, I got more people and I only have like
Thank you.
25 minutes or so. So I'll go with Susan. Glendenning?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you for all the committee members' comments. I really appreciate your thoughtful contemplation of this project. And I appreciate Graham's comments and as well, and Jan's. I'm the neighbor across the street at number 240 Western, and I want to just mention that, speaking of our view, it's absolutely blocked from our patio and our downstairs area. You know, so, but I understand there needs to be reasonable use of this property. I get that. And so what is reasonable, as Graham mentioned, this is, every project needs to be considered in the context of where it is. And, I just think that taking up maxing out the square footage of this property seems overkill, especially when you need to have when you're asking for a variance. It's not that slope. It is sloped, but it's not, it's not as sloped as many slopes are. But anyway, I'm just thinking that having the variance of 20% on top of having additional square footage that's not even counted toward that variance factor, because you're adding those 2 bedrooms called ADU and JADU, it seems a stretch. And that if there's ways to shrink the footprint and the height of this property, that would be much appreciated. It sounds like from the architect that you can do that, but that you are waiting for us to ask you to do that. And so I am now asking you to do that. And I also wanted to mention another thing about the sanitary sewer system. Adding there's a moratorium, there's workarounds to hook up to the sanitary sewer system anyway. Apparently, some things people are gonna be allowed to do that, I guess, under certain circumstances. Well, I'm a taxpayer. I'm very concerned that new flow to the system can add stress to the system. And there's a couple manholes on this property, and it seems like this new structure will stress this whole the sanitary sewer system. And it is in a risk of imminent failure. And that is putting the city at risk. And for the city to actually allow for this, I think is a really big mistake. And then also about the view vistas. Well, it is part of the city's code in the shoreline overlay city ordinance that says you need to preserve views and vistas, not just your view corridor. It's not view corridor is not how it's defined. It's a view and a vista, and we're talking about the Golden Gate Bridge, these iconic areas, Angel Island, etc. So this needs to be considered as well. Not just the view corridor side to side of the house, but also over the house. So, talking about our view, it is blocked, and we would like it to be shrunk, the footprint, size, and the height to be lowered. So thank you for listening to my comments.
Okay, thank you. I saw Russell's hand was up before, but I don't see him on the screen anymore. Are you there, Russell? Speak right now. Otherwise, I'm going to Chuck.
Thank you, Rod. No need to. Susan said it all.
Okay, sure.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, Chuck.
Thank you for listening to comments. I appreciated the comments of neighbors and Graham's and Susan's comments in particular, but can you help me understand something? As I understand it, you have a little bit more freedom to design a larger place because of the ADU and the JADU. What I don't understand are the rules sort of surrounding that, because I wonder whether you actually do intend to rent out the ADU to someone else or what its purpose may be. And I appreciate Graham's comments about perhaps using the area where the ADU is to place the garage, which would lower the overall sight lines, at least from the street. So can you please help me understand a little bit about the purpose of the ADU and the JADU, other than as kind of a straw man or a mechanism to increase the square footage of the proposed property? Thank you.
Talked about that.
And I'm going to state from that comment and also from Graham's that swapping the garage to the left, the south side, and then you can put an ADU, which would still be the same footprint, but you didn't have to have it at the elevation you have because you don't have to put a car there. So you could push that all down and maybe have we've had people put in 7-foot ceilings with open beams so that the roof structures, the support is visible, and to shrink a house down as low as possible. So the ADU could go in there with 7-foot ceilings and the gap between the beams. Okay. Okay, and Susan?
No.
Okay, I'm making some comments. I'm going to have Susan, then we'll have the architect wrap it up.
No,
Susan?
he didn't get his question answered. Let him get his question answered from the applicant.
Okay, David's going to answer Chuck's question.
Oh, about the the ADU?
Thank you.
Oh, I mean, the purpose of it is, I mean, it's I only know from what the owner tells me, but I guess his second wife, I guess, his wife has children in their 20s, and so they expect them to be living at the house with them, and that's the purpose.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Susan?
But he never mentioned renting it out. And I think doesn't Richmond have a rule that you can't rent out short term? You know, is that statewide?
No.
It can't be less than 30 days.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
Susan has her hand up.
I'm one of those Susans. I had my hand up accidentally after I made my comments. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Everybody that doesn't want to talk, lower your hands. Okay, so,
Let's committee talk.
Okay.
Themselves, yeah.
well, okay, any comments? Is there any motion for this project from the committee?
Well, I don't think we should put a motion in yet. I really think that getting information a little later, and also the simple fact that there's a lot of neighborhood input right now. I think this was another, I mean, this came in fast, and I think it needs to have another holdover. I think we need to have some more questions answered and see if there's some way, because frankly, the variances alone could have us say no to this project. I mean, some committee members might want to do that. But I think it would be good for the applicant to listen to what the concerns are, and to hold this over and see if you can come back with anything that the rest of the neighborhood would be more comfortable with. But of course, again, the other reality is for all neighbors that live in the Point Richmond, that's it. If you want to save a view, you have to buy that view. And obviously the property was already sold to someone. And it's hard when neighbors have a view that they've enjoyed for many years to imagine a new piece of obstruction to their view. But that is part of the reality of living in a city too. But I do think it would be great for neighbors to be able to have some level of compromise with the applicant, if that's possible. So it might be that a 30-day holdover on this would be helpful for you to maybe work more closely with the neighbors and see what you could possibly achieve together, so that everybody's feeling a little more comfortable. And really, 12-foot ceilings, we have some 10-foot ones. You'll never find the cobwebs on them. It's easy to knock a ceiling down and then lower the height of the building.
Hey, I'm going to make a proposed amendment or motion.
Charmin too, and
Okay, but I'm
ask
just going to make
everybody.
one because we can have discussion afterwards.
okay,
That the applicant consider what the neighborhood has asked for and swap the footprint of the garage and ADU, lower the ADU so that it's somewhat buried from the street elevation, put the garage at the other one. Now you've got some water view. You haven't lost the Golden Gate Bridge view. And on that basis, quid pro quo, maybe the neighbors wouldn't be as upset about having ADUs and the 20% variance on footprint floor area ratio. So that's quid pro quo.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, also, do I have do I have a minute, or are we at the end of this?
Yeah, we'll give you a minute.
Okay, so flipping it, so here we are, we flip it, right? See that deck? That gets really great sun. that kind of drove where the garage is. And from you guys, so we can, flipping it is a good idea. That'll open up the view. I get it, because that garage suddenly gets lower. And the other thing to consider is on like what the bottom line is on, hold on, I'm scrolling, sorry. How low do we have to make the house? See how we go down a bunch of steps to the entry door? What's the number? How much blue above the house must be seen? And I think, you know, the photographs will be helpful. Like, is it, because right now you can see the number, we're 3'3" above the street at the center of the lot. And which of these, how far do I push this thing down? Flipping it will work well, but that might screw up the architecture of it, but you know, boo-hoo. And then, you know, how, yeah, back to it. How low do I make the ADU? How low do I make, can I get away with the garage? How much blue do we need to see above the house, right? So, and I probably need to get new photos for tomorrow. Like you can see here, like above the ADU, like, let's assume there are story poles will drive this. Like, how much is necessary to see? And do we need to see all the way across? Can the garage break it up, or can the garage not break it up, right? Because if that garage was down 3 feet, I'm sure we wouldn't be having discussion right now, because then you can see the horizon line all the way across, which would be, I think, pretty cool. Anyway, that's all my comment. And that 12-foot, the 12-foot thing on the bottom, you see you can see how like what's driving the top floor is how many steps someone can tolerate to get to the front door. And sort of what the remaining is the height of the 12-foot height of the ground floor. It'd be cheaper to raise the foundation and I'll have, for example, 10-foot height, because, you know, digging into the earth is expensive. That might be a cost-saving thing, but what's driving the overall top height is how many steps can you tolerate to step down to get to your front door. And I think it's 7 right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anyway, that's my 2 minutes. And thanks everyone for considering this so carefully.
You want to say something?
Does anybody else on the committee have any ideas for a motion? I'm headed towards the idea that we just hold this over until, I mean, I don't think it's likely that we can all get changes in this short amount of time for tomorrow's meeting.
And I'd like to say that tomorrow's meeting will not be a detailed meeting. It would be a summary. So I would suggest, I agree with you, Bonnie and Rod, and I would suggest that we ask for some alternative views, some options that maybe will be more pleasing for the neighbors. I think now is the time. Now is the time to make any changes if possible, so that it's more, it fits more in with people's idea of how it should be in the street, in the neighborhood, in the view areas. So I think, yes, we don't have to wait a whole month to meet again, but we normally do
that though, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
We'd have to wait a month so that they could come back with the changes and that
For the next neighborhood council
for the
meeting.
next neighborhood council meeting.
Right.
Okay, as far as how many steps down, David, this is Rod speaking. I think the blue over the ADU now is sufficient for everybody to say, I see water, I can see the Golden Gate Bridge, I can see the city, I'm good, and then I'll be able to actually see Marin. So I don't think anybody could complain. I would even allow, you know, half that blue.
But it's
In
not
other
like,
words,
not like the garage is the rub then.
yeah.
And also, I mean, we need real photos with showing the story poles, not it's a computer thing.
Yeah.
So you guys
So that would mean you'd have to adjust the story poles that are there.
Yeah.
If they're still there. I don't know if they stayed up in the winds.
Oh, they're up. I mean, the story poles are accurate. You just need to take a photograph from different views of, you know, and so there's.
So
Yeah,
I think we should put the motion out and let the committee people, vote on it. What is it, Rod?
okay, so there's not been a second, but what I move that we
Just
we
hold it
leave
over.
blue across the whole horizon. We switch the ADU and the garage
Why don't
so
we
that
just-
we have more view.
Yeah, that would be good, and then just hold it over till
Well,
the
the hold,
next,
okay,
not tomorrow's,
and hold over to the next land use meeting,
to the next land use meeting, which would be in,
March.
March.
There's no, any second?
I was.
Second.
Okay, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Susie?
Yeah, aye.
Okay. All right, so what that means, David, is you don't have to show up for a meeting tomorrow because we're gonna hold you off for one more month. And try to get drawings to us quickly and to the community so that we can say, yeah, we're cool with that. Because if you get the neighborhood to actually say, you know, okay, you've made your adjustments, we'll accept what's there, you know, and maybe you get an ADU and a junior ADU. And I would say the front of the yard should probably be mainly paving so that these people that
They
can
can't
walk
do
to the
main.
bus are going to drive.
Well, maybe, but they still have to
I mean,
have
Betty has a
green
whole,
space.
yeah.
They still have to have green space. We're not redesigning it for you. We're just saying,
Oh, I understand.
see what you come up with in next 30 days.
And that off-street parking and unpaved parking could be with some pavers and some grasses that grow between, so it's, you know, it's percolates and it doesn't look all just black with a fast water runoff.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. I don't think BCDC will allow a percolating driveway. And many projects in the past, asphalt's not really allowed anymore. Okay.
Can
Is
you
it possible?
please, I'm sorry to interrupt, but can you please put poles at the back, at the beach side of the lot as well? So we can actually see what the renderings really would depict. And also, can you make sure to get the plans to us sooner than just the day before? And also please put me on the email list. I didn't get notified.
I sent the plans out over a week ago.
Oh, I missed it. Thank you. Sorry. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe I'll look at my spam.
Yep. Okay. Are there any other comments from anybody?
No, we just made a motion.
Okay, we
Meeting's
already
over.
approved it.
Okay, so the meeting's over, I think.
Meeting's over.
Okay,
All right.
thank
you.
Good job.
Return to
Bye-bye.
what you were doing before. Thank you, everyone.
Aye.
And thank you,
Good
David
night.
and
Thank you
Thank
very
Christine.
you.
Okay, bye.
Okay, thanks. 7:20.
Okay, bye, Charmaine.